Hi there and welcome back to Triplicate, and today we're back on a remote controlled lorry, the big rig. And first job, I'm going to make a better plate to hold the servo motor setup, which we've used to replace the original steering control, which we just couldn't get to work as we wanted. So I think I got this far on the last video. With the help of a bit of plywood, scanned the bottom of the original steering box to get the positions of the holes, and as you can see, marked those with red circles. So the next stage was to remove the picture, the image from the scan, and draw in all the rest of the bits and pieces. And you can see I've marked the diameters I want of all the holes. And the next stage after that is I have some, well, they're supposed to be postal labels, but they're basically printer paper, adhesive back printer paper, and that's my drawing positioned. You can see the faint grey outline. That's where I think the the label is going to be. So what I shall do first, I think, is print one out on card and cut it out and drill the holes, just as a sanity check that I've got everything reasonably right before I start drilling holes in Perspex. Okay, so I've drilled the holes. The cardboard one, my attempts to drill the 12mm hole were not particularly successful. Never mind, it'll do as a sanity check. So now we're just going to go around the outside. Oh, there we go. Shall we see if it fits? Right. Have the main thing back in view. There we go. Ah, no, I've got these wrong. Those don't need, I've drilled them out to fit those, but they need to fit these. Let me see those, which go down on there. Right, and there it is. Can't drill holes neatly in cardboard. However, that's why we use the cardboard, to spot the boo-boos, the little mistakes. So and this works like this. Those there. And we have two of those bushes with the spacer on. And these go on here. I still haven't learned the terminology. And they're a bit tight. I suspect this lorry is built in inch rather than metric, which I use, so these are a bit tight on here. So here it is, assemble the best I can on a piece of floppy cardboard. It's just knocking it over, and all the holes seem to line up and the wheels seem to be square, so I am as convinced as I can be from this that it's we're good to go. So now I shall print it out on the label. I shall just modify it so these holes are 6 instead of 4. Okay, here's me perspex. Here's me label, nicely printed in the middle. So first job is we'll take the protective plastic off the top. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it gets scratched because it's out of sight inside. And peel the label off, get rid of the others, and hopefully oh, get off, get off! Ah. Oh yeah, the back is just on the back and the rest of it's down nice and flat. Right, so I'm going to drill the holes first because those holes are quite big and quite near the edge, and I think if I just had that bit round I'd smash the plastic, whereas the bandsaw seems to go, it doesn't seem to crack the plastic. So I'm going to drill the holes, maybe show you those, and then bandsaw around the outside. Okay, so there, all the holes drilled. I just need to cut around the outside now with the bandsaw and figure out some way of cutting out that little notch there. Okay, so here it is, clear plastic, so doesn't show up brilliantly on camera. Oh, there I've got the reflections of it. I scratched top in the top, even though it should be symmetrical. So what we need to do is firstly, I guess, set up the servo. Now, suppose the servo had this nail in it before, so now I've gone over to a 2.5mm plastic screw. It'll be less slack because it fits better in the slot. So what I need to do is get rid of the glued in nail like that. I've got other arms if I need to put the screw in a different one. So first up, this goes in here. Two screws, hopefully land the holes in the servo, just about, come on, there he goes. Okay. If we can get this on. There's one, two, I think I've snipped this screw off. The threads probably aren't terribly good at the start. Ah, there we go. The nuts I haven't snipped off, so I'm going to have it. Oops. Screw it down for quite some time. And that's the nut on the floor. Alright, we've been the screw out. We'll spin out on top of that. There we go. Okay, so if I put that on there, that's how it goes. And I don't know where the servo is. So we shall have to plug it in to the motherboard. Back up a bit. Brown to brown. avail myself of the USB lead. No, that one. It's even shorter. Right, one USB lead. Plug that in there. It should go to the centre. I think that's all right. Just come off. Remember that one nearer the centre. So if we now plug this into it, it was 8, I think. We get some movement. Right. Oh, it does want to be back this way. Yeah, that is nearer the centre. Goes on a spline shaft and neither of them point directly to the middle, but it doesn't matter, that's just a software problem. Okay, unplug that. Pull that there. Just get rid of that light. Pull this back into shot. I think that's going to be way too long. So, sand cutters. Let's like that. This on, that's not. And we're going out of shot. Come on. Oh. Oh, that's it. That's alright, that's sitting on the screw holes. Okay, so. No. Spacers. How many hard sticks has to do with these? I'll put some glue on top. There'll be no force on to speak of. And now we've got it. Then to there like that. And that to there. And we should have 3 little screws which hold that on. Ah, and one which actually holds the arm on onto the servo. Oh, so yeah, so big screw goes in the front, and 2 small screws go in the back, and the spring that centres the steering. Trying to pull the plate round. We won't put those in too super tight for now. Right, what do you say we connect this back up? So we plug that in. And well, you can see wrong way again. Oh. Okay, and there we have some steering happening. Good. Okay, so we tested this using the Mega, but now we need to away with the Mega and connect the servo to the main processor, i.e. via that connector. And just to add to the complications, I have borrowed the genuine Arduino for another project, so we have to take this, which is a copy, and put the truck code into that, and hopefully then we'll have some proper steering. Okay, so I have connected up the servo and zoom you in so you can see this wire here. Okay, this wire here goes somewhere under there to here. Pin 9 is the one we're going to use on the connector, and this end, it's this wire here going to pin 4 on the Arduino, or digital in 4 should I say, on the Arduino. I've plugged in the new Arduino and we're powered up with no current, so we'll just bring the current up. Yeah. Okay, the voltage comes up nicely without drawing too much current. The motor driver board's on, and the Arduino is running correctly with its blink demo that it comes with, and I now just have to, there we go, you see that on the camera. Good, so far so good. So I've just copied across the code that I was using to test it with the other Arduino for now. Alright, so it says board as Arduino Genuino, don't know. Okay, so we might and will you look at that, works first time. Too good to be true. Ah. Okay, something weird going on there. I know what, I haven't applied enough current to it. Had the current limit set too low and it was bombing out. Okay, that's good. Right, it is time to write some proper steering code. Okay, so we've hit a problem, and another problem in that it's quite hard to film. Anyway, we'll try. So I've made it so I can use 2 buttons on the remote control to move the steering around, and I've discovered a problem. I'll just try and get some light on this. There we go. So you can see that is my little screw which is driving the steering. That is the slot in the bit of the steering that goes backwards and forwards, and you can see it's right at the back. And I'll try the other way. Of course, when you turn the arm on the servo, it goes out sideways. It also moves backwards because it's actually going round in a circle. So if I move that back, you can see it doesn't actually go very far before it hits the back. Now it's jammed there, and I do have a longer arm, so I'm going to try putting the screw through that and see if that'll get us enough movement. If not, the servo is going to have to be moved forward, which probably means making another plate, which will be a bit annoying. Anyway, plan A is to try and get a longer arm, that one, and put the screw through the end hole, hopefully without the end breaking. So I shall try that and bring you back. Okay, here we are, the Mark II. I had to use a 2mm screw instead of a 2.5mm screw because it would have just gone through the end. You see that there's not much room around there. So I shall try putting it back together with this one. Hopefully we'll get more angle out of our steering. Okay, that's back together. Had to replace that screw with the countersunk one because the end of the arm now was catching on the screw head, but apart from that, not a problem. And as you can see, it's now towards the front of the slot in the arm that works the steering. So we should be in with a chance. So I will grab the controller. It should come this way. Whoops, I think just got caught up on something. Anyway, that I believe is full lock, and if I can get the torch to, yeah, we're not just over halfway back at in the slot, so that solved that problem, but it got caught on something. I suspect that screw is still a little long, so I'll go and peer at that and get that sorted out, and then we'll move on. Okay, so I think that's it as for how it's going back together, but when I put it back together I didn't put the little spring in correctly, which returns it to the centre. However, do we need that? I don't think we do. So for now I've just pulled it out because it was just flopping about, and we're going to try without it because the servo pushes it back to the centre. And I've written some basic code which I won't show you at the moment. So if I steer left, the wheels go left. If I steer right, the wheels go right. And that's maybe a bit slow, but hey, the big wheels on these trucks, they take a while to turn. And if I leave the steering in the centre, the wheels go back at half the speed. And I'm sure that's not going to be the final steering system. However, I think we need to put it down on the ground and try it now and see what works. You can see the wheels haven't gone straight. There's a fair bit of slack in the system. However, we will solve that problem when we come to it. So I was going to spend 5 minutes showing you the new plate and screwing it all together, and then move on to the speed measurement, but it's ended up with a whole video of steering. So I'm going to finish this video here, because even then it's starting to get a bit long, and next time we are going to move on to trying to get this speed measurement set up, and then hopefully we're also going to move on to actually putting it down on the ground and getting it to move, getting it to roll along. And you might say about time too. So on that note, I will leave it for this one. So yep, subscribe if you like us, thumbs up possibly, comment if you've got anything to say, and for now that's it from Triplicate, home of interesting electronics.